Hey guys, what's going on? It's Sports Talk with Stock, back here again with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the New England Patriots and how they're going to do in the 2021 season. So, first of all, I think that they're going to do pretty good. But we have to talk about Brady leaving, of course, and who their quarterback should be, and, some cool storylines we could follow through it. But first of all, I think the Patriots are going to do great. The Bill Belichick is such a good coach. I feel like he's so good at finding talent, and he's so good at coaching people to find the best of their talent, And they have a pretty good roster still. They did lose a lot of key people, but I feel like Belichick is kind of reloading a little bit. And then I think Jarrett Stidham, he did pretty good in the preseason. We haven't seen him really else other than that, but I think he can be a pretty good quarterback. And of course, Belichick, I've already said it. And then they have Brian Hoyer. He's a pretty good backup. And then they got Julian Edelman, who will probably be a good wide receiver. I think N'Keal Harry could be a good wide receiver for them too. And then their running backs, Sony Michel and Rex Burkhead's still back there, I think. Yeah, Rex Burkhead's still back here. Let's see. They have Sony Michel and they have James White. James White is good. And also at wide receivers, they have Damiere Byrd, who was pretty good for Arizona last year. And Mohamed Sanu, who they traded for in midseason. Then their line hasn't really gotten worse. They'll do good. They'll do pretty good, I think. And their biggest problem is their offense. Especially what we saw from them last year. But they're still good enough to win, I think. Of course, their strength is their secondary, where they have Stephon Gilmore and Patrick Chung and Jason McCourty. And those are all still really good players. And I feel like they're going to have another good season. And their special teams is always good. Now, they also don't have the hardest schedule. They're in the AFC East, which, even though I think Buffalo's going to do really good next year, it is still a pretty easy division. But let me talk about. I'm going to talk about every game, wins and losses, and why. First week, I think Miami will beat New England. It's Jarrett Stidham's first start at a quarterback, and I feel like Miami's going to do pretty decent this year. I think Brian Flores is a good head coach, and I think they're going to come out with a win in week 1. Then in week 2, Bill Belichick is going to get his team together. They're going to beat the Seattle Seahawks. Then they're going to go, Las Vegas is going to go to New England in Foxborough. And I think New England will beat Las Vegas. And then they'll go to Kansas City. And I think Patrick Mahomes is going to beat them. And then Denver will come to Foxborough. And I think Denver will win. Then they will go in their bye. And they will get things sorted after losing 2 straight. They'll have San Francisco go into Foxborough. I don't think San Francisco will be ready for the cold weather up there, even though it's probably not that cold up there yet. It's only week 7. And New England will get the win. Then New England will go to Buffalo and lose. New England will go to New York and win. And at this point, they are 4-4. Then they go, and then Baltimore goes to them, and they lose. They're 4-5 here. They go to Houston, they win, 5-5. Arizona goes to them, and Arizona wins. I think Arizona's going to have a pretty good season. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 games in a row. They do this Belichick magic, and they just win every single game for the next 5 games. They beat Los Angeles. They beat both Los Angeles back to back. They stay in LA for 2 weeks. Then they beat Miami, they beat Buffalo, and they beat New York. And that would give them a 10-6 record and good enough to be number 2 in the AFC East, in my prediction. And then they lose to Baltimore in the wild card weekend. But I think the Patriots are fine without Tom Brady. He's obviously a great player, and they won't be the same as they have been. They'll lose the division, but I think they are a good enough team to make the playoffs again. And also, here's something that I don't think will happen, but it would be a cool storyline if it could. If Cam Newton went in to New England and he became their starter, which I don't think Cam Newton is a starting quarterback caliber, but if he was, and he wasn't injured, and he wasn't beat up, he wasn't injured, and he could play at a high enough level, I think, to maybe propel him to an even higher wins. And also, the other alternate scenario is that Jarrett Stidham is not good enough to be a good quarterback for the Patriots, and they have a really low record, and they pick up a quarterback next year, like maybe even trade up to number 1 and get Trevor Lawrence, he's probably going to come out next year. And I think Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in college football right now, especially with Joe Burrow leaving. But I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens with them. It's a completely different Patriots, a completely different AFC East, and without Brady, they still have a great defense, and I think their defense it was number 1 in yards allowed, and it was number 1 in takeaways last year, and I believe that could be good enough alone to propel them into a high enough record to win. And now after all that, I think the New England Patriots can do pretty good. They might have some stumbles here and there, but based on the history of Bill Belichick, I think they can make the playoffs again. Comment down below what team you want me to do next, and stay safe. See you guys next.